Tonight, as the world grows still and the night begins its gentle reign, come, lay your heart beside these sacred words. Let them cover you like a soft mantle of peace, for the voice of the Lord still speaks. Yes, even now, even here, even to you. This is not just a bedtime prayer. This is not just another voice in the noise. This is holy ground, a place where your soul is invited to rest beside the river of God's eternal mercy. Before we begin, if this video helps you find peace, please subscribe to the channel and help us reach 100 subscribers. Also, comment below what time it is where you are and where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. Now, take a deep breath. Let the day fall away. Let the stillness rise like a gentle tide. This is your time to rest in the presence of God. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are not too far gone. God still has a plan for you. Lay your head down, beloved child. The heavens are not blind to your pain. The skies are not deaf to your sorrow. Even when your room feels empty and your prayers feel unanswered, the eyes of the Lord are upon you, and His Spirit hovers near, closer than breath, deeper than thought. You are not forgotten in the night. Though the world may have passed you by, though people may have left, though your name may be absent from their minds, your name is engraved upon the hands of God, written into the folds of His memory, and carried in the rhythm of His eternal plan. Rest now, not because everything is solved, not because the road ahead is clear, but because you are held by one who knows every turn, who walks ahead and behind you, who guards you from what you cannot see, and whispers, "I am here." Do not fear the silence. The silence is where I sing. Do not fear the darkness. The darkness is where I shine. Do not fear the stillness. The stillness is where I speak. Let your worries unravel. Let your failures fall away like dust. Let the memories of regret be washed in grace tonight. I saw the moment they broke your trust. I heard the words that wounded. I know the weight you carried alone, but I did not leave you there. Even when it felt like no one stood beside you, I surrounded you with angels you could not see, with strength you didn't know was mine, with mercy that kept you breathing when your hope ran dry. You are not forgotten in the night. You are not a mistake. You are not invisible to me. You are my beloved. You are my chosen. You are my child. When you wandered, I followed. When you doubted, I remained. When you wept, I wept with you. And when you laid in silence, I covered you with my presence like a blanket over trembling shoulders. I do not love you for your perfection. I love you in your weakness. I do not call you because you are ready. I call you because I have never let go. Rest now. Breathe in my promise. Exhale the weight of your thoughts. You have been trying to earn what I gave freely. You have been trying to carry what I already bore. You have been running, but I have not moved. Come back. Come closer. Come without fear. Even now I am rebuilding what was lost. Even now I am preparing joy in the place of despair. Even now I am softening the soil of your soul to grow what seemed barren. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not too broken. I am the God of the midnight hour, the God who sees in the dark, the God who speaks through dreams, the God who never stops writing your story. Let the tears fall. Let the breath slow. Let the word take root in your spirit. You are not forgotten in the night. I numbered the stars, and I numbered your days. I split the seas, and I can split your sorrow. I calmed the storms, and I will calm your mind. Even in your sleep, I will guard you. Even in your dreams, I will visit you. Even in your doubt, I will remind you. You are mine. You are seen. You are loved. So be still, my child. Not everything has to make sense tonight. Not every answer must come before rest. You are not created to solve everything. You are created to trust me, and I am trustworthy. My mercy has no expiration. My love has no distance. My plan has not changed because of your detour. I knew the falls before the footsteps. I knew the tears before the testimony. I knew the wilderness before the breakthrough. So close your eyes with confidence, not in yourself, but in me. In the one who never slumbers, who never fails, who never forgets his children in the dark. You are not forgotten in the night. You are being restored. You are being remade. You are being remembered by heaven. And I, the Lord your God, still have a plan for you. Even as the weight of the world presses against your chest, and the memories of what slipped through your fingers return to stir the quiet waters of your soul. There is one who has never let go, one whose hands have carried you farther than your own strength ever could. And tonight, those hands still hold you, not loosely, not in hesitation, but with the same unwavering grip that shaped the mountains and called the seas into being, with the same patience that knits galaxies together and names the lilies by color and bloom. You may not feel it now, in this room dim with silence and filled with the ache of unspoken things, but your life has not fallen through the cracks of heaven, and your pain has not gone unnoticed, for the Lord who formed your inward being has never once loosened his hold on you, not when you failed, not when you wandered, not when the world said you were too broken to carry forward. These hands, the hands of the Eternal, are the hands that held the trembling of prophets, that wrote mercy into law, that lifted the face of the widow and caught the tears of the forsaken. They are the hands that were pierced for your peace, the hands that did not flinch at the weight of your shame, the hands that did not pull away when your faith fell silent and your hope gave way to fear. He does not hold you with reluctance or duty, but with delight, with covenant love, with a tenderness that neither time nor sin can diminish, and in his palm is written every chapter of your life, not in ink that fades or script that is easily rewritten, but engraved with intention, secured in compassion, held by the one who sees the end from the beginning, and still chooses to stay beside you in the middle. Even now, as your breath slows and your thoughts begin to settle like leaves falling on still waters, his hands surround you, cupping your weariness with reverence, lifting your heart out of despair, reminding you gently, but surely that no matter how far you feel from where you thought you'd be, you are not outside the reach of his design, you are not beyond the borders of his care, you are not lost in the chaos that life has thrown at you, for his grasp is not bound by time, his grip is not weakened by your struggle, you are not a burden to the hands that hold you, you are not too heavy, you are not too complicated, you are not too late, for these hands do not grow weary, these hands do not release out of disappointment, these hands do not let go when the storm rages, they hold tighter, they draw nearer, they carry you when your legs can no longer remember how to stand. Even in the season where all you could do was survive, when you no longer prayed with words but groaned with exhaustion, when your faith grew thin and your courage ran dry, these hands were still beneath you, catching what you thought had fallen, holding together what you thought had shattered, gathering your scattered pieces, with the gentleness of a father who knows that restoration begins in stillness and healing begins in trust. You do not need to strive for the hands of God, for they are already under you, already around you, already holding every breath. And as you rest tonight, may you feel, if only in quiet knowing, that you are not lying alone in your bed, but in the embrace of everlasting arms, arms that carried Moses through wilderness, arms that caught Peter when he sank in doubt, arms that held the leper when no one else would touch, arms that stretched wide enough to cover the sin of the world, and close enough to cradle a single trembling soul in the midnight hour. Let the truth settle deeply within you. You do not have to earn this security. You do not have to perform to stay in his favor. You do not have to explain your pain or defend your delays, for he already knows, already understands, and still he chooses to hold you. When the voices of shame grow loud, when your past tries to disqualify you, when the accuser reminds you of every misstep, remember the hands that took the nails so yours could be free. Remember the hands that washed the feet of betrayers. Remember the hands that broke the bread and gave thanks. Even knowing that pain would come, you are not held in judgment, you are held in love. You are not gripped in anger, you are secured in mercy. And though you may not feel strong tonight, you don't need to be, for the one holding you does not falter. Lay down your feet. Let go of the image you've tried so hard to keep together. Release the tension that clings to your jaw, your chest, your hands. You were never meant to carry yourself. You were made to be held. And if the night brings tears, let them come, for he counts every one, not to shame you but to redeem the reason they fell. If the memories surface, do not hide from them, for he walks through even the darkest chambers with light in his steps. He is not afraid of your past. He is not overwhelmed by your grief. He is not surprised by your silence. He has held the trembling hearts of kings and the crushed dreams of children, and he knows how to hold you too. So rest, not in forgetting, but in remembering. Remember that you are loved beyond comprehension, that the hands which molded the stars now comfort your anxious soul, that the plan written over your life has not been cancelled by pain, but rather is being revealed through it. What man discarded, God gathers. What life shattered, God mends. What you thought was the end, He calls the turning point. There is no version of your story where His hands let go. There is no alternate path where He leaves you alone. There is no suffering so deep that His presence will not descend into it. There is no silence so wide that His voice will not cross it. Tonight, though you may not understand the season, and though the light feels distant, let one truth anchor your breath as you drift toward sleep. The hands that made you still hold you, not loosely, not fearfully, but eternally. And as long as those hands hold you, you are safe, you are seen, you are still in the plan, you are still in the promise, you are still in the story God is writing. You do not have to know what comes next, you only have to rest in the hands that do, and these hands, these holy, wounded, merciful hands, are holding you now. Before your body was shaped in the secret sanctuary of the womb, before your lungs drew breath, or your eyelids first trembled open to light, before you ever tasted sorrow or touched joy, I knew you not in part, not in outline, but completely, deeply, eternally, as only the Creator can know the creation. For I am not surprised by your thoughts, nor puzzled by your journey, for every step you take is woven into the blueprint of my sovereign mercy, and every pause, every ache, every longing that pulses within your soul. I knew it all before the first star pierced the sky. Do not think of yourself as an afterthought or an accident of time and circumstance, for you are the intention of the eternal, and I, the Lord who dwells outside the constraints of hours and years, have called you by name long before your ears could hear and your heart could believe. For I am the God who sees the seed before it becomes the tree, the potter who holds the vessel before it is shaped, the author who writes the ending before the beginning unfolds. Even now, as you lie in the quiet of this night, wrestling with questions too big to voice, I remind you with my spirit that you are not the sum of your fears, nor the reflection of your failures, nor the product of what others did to you. You are mine, and you were mine before the world had a voice to label you, or a hand to harm you. For my knowing runs deeper than human memory, my seeing goes farther than your scars, and my love has never been based on your performance, but on my promise. Before you were formed, I knew the shape of your soul, the melody of your laughter, the exact curve of your compassion, and though the world would sometimes try to shape you into something smaller, something lesser, something acceptable by their standards, my hands have never stopped guiding you back to who I made you to be. Fearfully, wonderfully, purposely designed, not to blend in, but to carry a portion of my glory that only your life can reveal. Even in your moments of wandering, I saw you not as lost, but as learning. Even when you doubted your worth, I never doubted my investment. Even when you questioned why you were made, I smiled, because I know what is yet to come. You are not a story being written in pencil, easily erased and redrawn by the winds of failure or the storms of regret. No, you are a living letter carved upon the heart of God, a testimony of grace, unfolding line by line, even when you cannot see how the pieces fit together. Rest in this tonight, not in the comfort of knowing everything, but in the safety of being fully known. For I do not only see the surface of your life, I see beneath it. I do not only listen to the prayers you speak aloud, I hear the silent ones that ache behind your eyes, the groanings too deep for words, the dreams you buried out of fear they would never bloom. I know when your voice is strong and when it is silent. I know when your spirit sings, and when it trembles. I know when your faith is a flame, and when it is a flicker, and I do not love you less in the flicker. I do not abandon you in the trembling. You were not formed by chance, but by choice, not by randomness, but by revelation. For I saw the need for someone like you in this world, a soul that could carry light into dark rooms, tenderness into harsh spaces, truth into chaos. And though you often feel too fragile for such a task, I remind you I made you this way on purpose. I did not form you to be hardened by this world. I formed you to stay soft in it. I did not craft you for perfection, but for presence, my presence within you. I did not send you into this time and place by mistake, but by divine orchestration, for your story carries a note in the eternal symphony, and if it were missing, the music would not be the same. So do not measure yourself by the metrics of man. Do not weigh your worth by what you've achieved or failed to achieve. Do not shrink to fit the mold others have pressed upon you. You are known by the God who made galaxies spin and still had room to think of you. You are held by the hands that held the cross, and still chose to hold your future. You are seen by eyes that looked upon nothingness and imagined you into being. Before you had a past, I gave you a purpose. Before you made a mistake, I gave you my mercy. Before you ran, I sent redemption to run after you. Even as you sleep tonight, I sing over you the song of your identity. Even as your thoughts drift, I anchor them in the truth that you are wanted. Even as you forget who you are, I whisper again and again, I remember. And though you may feel unfinished, unready, unequipped, I am not waiting for you to perfect yourself before I call you forward. For my strength is made perfect, not in your glory but in your weakness, not in your certainty but in your surrender, not in your noise but in your stillness. So lie here now and know this deeply, with every slow breath and quiet heartbeat. You are known, completely. You are loved, eternally. You are chosen irrevocably. You are not a mistake. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are still being written. You are still being formed. You are still within the hands of the one who saw the very first breath you would take, and who will see the very last and even beyond that, into forever, into glory, into light without end. The world may have told you that you are too much or not enough. I tell you that you are exactly as I intended. The world may try to define you by what you lack. I define you by what I placed within you. Before you were formed, I knew the days you would rejoice and the days you would collapse. I knew the ones who would love you well and the ones who would wound you deeply. I knew the moments you'd believe, and the seasons you'd forget, and still I called you mine, and I call you mine now, here, in this breath, in this room, in this night. Sleep in peace, for the eyes that never slumber are watching over you, and the hands that shaped you from dust now guard your rest with fire and with tenderness. Sleep in peace, for you were not made to carry the weight of proving yourself. You were made to rest in the knowledge that you were known, long before you ever had a name. And even now, I, the Lord your God, who knit you together in secret, and called you good, say this: I still know you, I still love you, I still have a plan for you. Even now, while your thoughts lie scattered like withered leaves across the garden of your mind, and while the silence of this night feels louder than the cries you've buried inside, I am working, not in chaos, not in haste, not in human effort, but in divine stillness, in sacred rhythm, in a patience that does not falter or fade. And though you do not yet see the unfolding, the movement, the visible hand of heaven, I assure you, my child, I am not idle, and I have never ceased to move on your behalf. For I do not need the noise of progress to prove my power, and I do not wait for your understanding to begin my orchestration. For I move in shadows as I do in light, and I whisper miracles into places you have long stopped believing in. And even as your prayers grow faint and your dreams feel delayed, I continue to weave purpose into the very places where you feel most forgotten. You may ask, where is God in this silence? Where is He when the doors remain shut, when the answers are slow, when the heart grows tired from waiting? And I say to you, I am in the waiting itself. I am not distant from your delay. I am buried within it, planting seeds that will one day break forth through the soil of your surrender. Seeds that grow not in a rush, but in reverence, watered by tears I have counted and warmed by faith you did not know you still possess. Even now, I am working, in the disappointment you did not see coming, in the conversation that left you feeling unseen, in the job that didn't open, in the relationship that ended, in the quiet hours where your hands are empty but your heart is still open. You think nothing is happening, because nothing has changed on the outside. But I tell you, the greatest transformations begin where no eye can see, in the depth of the spirit, in the hidden place where faith must sprout roots before it can bear fruit. And just because you cannot trace my hand does not mean I have withdrawn it. For I am the gardener who tends in silence, the potter who shapes beneath pressure, the shepherd who moves even when the sheep cannot feel his step. Even now, I am working through the closed doors you've mourned, through the timing you've questioned, through the pain you thought disqualified you. I am not late, I am not absent, I am not uncertain, I am not waiting to see how things turn out before I decide to bless you. I am the one who declares the end from the beginning, and what I have ordained no man can cancel, what I have spoken no lie can undo, and what I have planted no storm can uproot. Even now, I am working in your character, in your habits, in your thoughts, reshaping the interior places, so that the exterior blessings do not crush you when they arrive. For I would not be a loving father if I gave you what you asked for before preparing you to carry it. Even now, I'm working in the lives of people you have not yet met, aligning hearts and assignments, opening doors that have not yet appeared, sending help that has not yet arrived. And though your timeline feels pressed, my timing is perfect, not by your clock, but by eternity's measure. You may not see it yet, but you are being positioned. You may not feel it yet, but you are being strengthened. You may not understand it yet, but you are being sanctified, refined, softened in the fire, not to destroy you but to reveal what cannot be burned, your faith, your calling, your inheritance in me. Even now, while you sleep, I am guarding your purpose. Even now, while you breathe in this sacred stillness, I am lifting burdens from your back you thought would remain forever. Even now, while the world forgets you, I remember every promise I have made, and I do not forget what I speak over my children. Do not despise the season that seems slow, for in this season I am building patience that will carry you longer than passion ever could. I am deepening your discernment, so you will know my voice from every counterfeit whisper. I am purifying your motives, so that your heart desires me more than the outcome, and when the answer comes, when the promise unfolds, you will not only rejoice in what I gave, you will rejoice in what I taught you while you waited. Even now, I am working through the things that confuse you. I am working in your weakness, in your emptiness, in the gap between what you hoped for and what is. I am not intimidated by your doubts. I am not driven away by your weariness. I do not shrink back from the questions you do not yet have language for. I step into them. I live inside them. I work through them. And when you cannot see the path, I will guide you by peace. When you cannot see the provision, I will sustain you by grace. When you cannot feel me near, I will remain closer than your next breath. Even now, I am working not only for you, but in you, and through you. You do not need to feel productive to be in my plan. You do not need to move mountains to please me. You only need to trust that I am God and I am still at work. So rest tonight, not because everything is finished, but because I never stop working, and I am more faithful than your fears, more consistent than your circumstances, and more capable than anything that comes against you. You are not falling behind. You are not stuck. You are not forgotten. You are in my hands, in my timing, in my process. Even now, especially now, I am working, and the plan I have for you still stands. The wounds you carry, though hidden from the eyes of many, though buried beneath years of silence, though dismissed by those who never saw the depth of their cut, are not invisible to me, for I do not merely glance at your life from afar. I examine the heart. I enter the chambers of pain that no one else is willing to visit. I sit with you in the places you have tried to seal shut, and I do not turn away in discomfort. I do not flinch at the depth of your sorrow. I do not grow tired of your tears. You may think that time has numbed the memory, or that strength has covered the wound. But I see through the layers. I see where the bruises became belief, where the pain became identity, where the moment of betrayal or abandonment hardened into a lie that you were never meant to carry. Lies that said you were unworthy, unloved, unchosen, too broken to be whole again. But I, the Lord your God, who heals not only the body but the soul, who binds up not only the visible injuries but the unseen ones that bleed in silence, I have come not to erase your story, but to redeem it, not to pretend the wound was never there, but to pour oil and wine upon it, to press my hand upon the aching place, not with condemnation, but with compassion, not with judgment, but with gentleness, not with rejection, but with the holy fire of restoration. There is no wound too deep for me to heal. There is no trauma too old for me to touch. There is no shame too heavy for me to lift. I am not afraid of what hurts you. I am not discouraged by what you feel. I am not distant from your pain. I am the God who walked into the garden knowing betrayal would come, the God who was mocked and misunderstood, who bore lashes upon my back and nails in my hands, so that I could walk with you through your suffering, not as a stranger to pain, but as a Savior who understands it from the inside out. I do not minimize your wounds. I do not rush your healing. I do not scold you for hurting. I simply invite you to let me in, to let me tend to the scarred places, to let me peel back the bandages you wrap too tightly around the memories you were never meant to face alone. The pain you carry was never meant to be your burden forever. The betrayal you endured was never the end of your work. The words spoken over you in cruelty, in ignorance, in anger, I cancel their authority now, and I replace them with the words of heaven, the words I have spoken over you since the beginning. You are loved. You are chosen. You are still being made whole. Even when others forgot your pain, I remembered. Even when you couldn't name what hurt, I knew. Even when your healing felt too far to hope for, I never stopped drawing near. I am the Lord who binds up the broken-hearted. I am the shepherd who carries the wounded lamb. I am the father who never grows weary of holding a child who cries in the night. Let me take the pain from your hands. Let me lift the shame from your shoulders. Let me breathe into the places where the air has long gone still. You do not need to fix yourself to be healed. You do not need to earn recovery through strength. You only need to allow me close enough to touch the pain without hiding it, to touch it not to hurt you but to release you, to cleanse what festered in secret, to break the power of the past, to let light fill the room that has been locked for so long. Yes, the wound has shaped you, but it does not define you. Yes, the pain has been real, but so is my power to restore. Yes, there was a season of sorrow, but joy shall come in the morning. Even now, I am softening your heart again. Even now, I am undoing the knots that formed in self-protection. Even now, I am reminding you that it is safe to hope, to feel, to believe again. For I do not break what is bruised. I do not extinguish the wick that smokes. I restore gently, patiently, completely. The healing I bring is not surface deep. It is soul deep. It does not just cover the pain. It rewrites the meaning. It does not erase what happened, but it turns what wounded you into a well of compassion. It transforms sorrow into strength. It makes beauty rise from the ashes you thought were final. What man could not repair, I will renew. What time could not erase, I will redeem. What you thought was lost forever, I will bring forth again, full of purpose, full of peace, full of glory. So tonight, in the hush of this sacred hour, let me begin the mending. Let me wash your wounds in truth. Let me sit beside the memory you cannot speak of. Let me speak my name into your pain until my peace overcomes it. You are not damaged beyond restoration. You are not unworthy of healing. You are not stuck in the cycle forever. I am the breaker of chains. I am the healer of hearts. I am the redeemer of what was lost. You do not need to fear the process, for I am gentle with your sorrow, and I am faithful with your healing. I do not rush what I cherish, and I cherish you. I will not let the wound define your future. I will not let the pain be your final identity. I will not let the lie have the last word. The wounds you carry, I will heal, not just for your comfort, but for your calling, not just for your relief, but for your rise, not just for your sake, but for the sake of those who will one day say, if God could heal you, perhaps he can heal me too. So rest now, not because the past never happened, but because I am greater than the past. Rest now, not because you have healed yourself, but because the healer is in the room. And as you breathe, and as you close your eyes, know this: I, the Lord your God, am near. I, the Lord your God, am not finished. I, the Lord your God, still have a plan for you. Though the world has spoken its judgments, though voices around you have questioned your worth, though your own heart has wrestled with shame and hesitation, I say to you now, with a voice that thunders beyond doubt, and still soothes like a whisper through the soul, nothing can cancel my calling over your life. Nothing can revoke what I have declared. And nothing you've done, no detour you've taken, no failure you fear, has disqualified you from the destiny I have designed before the foundation of the world was set in place. For I, the Lord your God, do not draft my plans in pencil, nor do I tear out the pages of your story when the ink runs with sorrow, or the lines twist with disappointment, but I write with the fire of eternal purpose, and I carve my call into the depths of your being so that even when you forget who you are, even when others speak a different name over you, the truth of what I've spoken still burns, still breathes, still beckons. You may look back on your life and see missed chances, broken promises, wasted years, but I see a canvas, not ruined, but layered, not discarded but in progress, and my spirit moves even now across the surface of your days, shaping what once seemed formless into something meaningful, something beautiful, something only I could bring forth through grace, not perfection, through surrender, not performance. Do not think that your mistake shocked me. Do not believe that your weakness interrupted my will. Do not be deceived by the enemy who tells you that you've fallen too far to rise again, for the gifts and the calling of God are without repentance, without reversal, without expiration, and what I have spoken in the stillness of your spirit will not be silenced by the storms of your journey. For I am not a man that I should lie, nor the son of man that I should change my mind. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the one who began your story and the one who will complete it. Even now, as you rest and reflect and breathe under the weight of my presence, I remind you that I have not given your calling to another. I have not withdrawn the assignment I placed upon your life. I have not erased the promises I whispered when you were young, when your heart was still tender, when your dreams had not yet known the bruises of reality. No, I still see that child within you. I still hear that dream, and I still intend to fulfill it. Others may have spoken failure over you. You may have labeled yourself disqualified, but I call you chosen. I call you commissioned. I call you my vessel. The road has been long, yes, and the weight has been heavy, but the journey has not been wasted. For even in your detours I was training you, even in your delay I was preparing you, even in your moments of collapse I was building a foundation that could not be shaken by applause or destroyed by accusation. You wonder, but Lord, what if I missed it? And I answer, you cannot miss what I have sealed. You say, but I've failed too many times. And I say, my grace is not dependent on your record. You ask, is it too late for me? And I whisper, my timing is not bound by your clocks, for I am the God who restores years, the God who redeems generations, the God who resurrects callings long buried under layers of fear and regret. Even now, I am stirring within you the memory of what you were made for. Even now, I am awakening the parts of you that once believed, that once trusted, that once moved boldly in my name. You were not called to blend in with disappointment. You were not created to settle for survival. You were not placed on this earth to be silent under the weight of shame. I called you to speak life. I called you to reflect light. I called you to carry my spirit in a world that aches to remember what holiness looks like in human form. And though you feel small now, I delight in using what is small. Though you feel bruised, I anoint what has been pressed. Though you feel slow to move, I wait for you with kindness, not pressure. You are not too far gone. You are not too flawed. You are not too late to become everything I spoke over your life. The same power that raised Christ from the dead dwells within you. The same spirit that hovered over the deep now hovers over your heart. The same voice that called Lazarus forth from the grave still calls your purpose back to life. So let every lie be silenced. Let every shame be cast off. Let every hesitation melt in the fire of my presence. You are not your failure. You are not your fear. You are not your past. You are mine. You are called. You are equipped. And though the vision may have tarried, though the fulfillment feels distant, though the dream seems faded, wait for it shall surely come, and it will not delay, for I am the God who watches over my word to perform it, and I have never abandoned a promise I made. Tonight, as you lie still, and let your soul be held, know this above all, you are still in the center of my calling. You are still the one I chose. You are still the one I will use. Nothing you've done can cancel what I have declared. Nothing the enemy whispers can undo what I have sealed. Nothing this world takes from you can remove what I've placed within you. And when the time is right, You will rise again not in your own strength but in mine. You will walk in the fullness of what I prepared, and you will say, surely the Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in my eye. So rest now, not in what you have figured out but in the one who holds all things together. Rest now, not in what you understand but in the truth that my calling remains, my purpose endures and my plan for you still stands. And nothing, no failure, no fear, no force in heaven or earth, can cancel what I, the Lord your God, have begun in you. When the world grows quiet, and the noise that once filled your ears falls away like the wind settling after a storm, when the voices you leaned on grow distant, and even your own thoughts slow to a hush, too deep for language, know this. My voice is not absent in silence, for I am the God who speaks in stillness. And though the earth quakes at my command and the heavens roar at my glory, I often choose to speak to my children, in the gentle breeze, in the hidden hour, in the soft breath between questions. Do not mistake silence for absence, and do not confuse stillness with abandonment. For I am not a God who only speaks in the fire or the wind, but I am the God who whispers, the God who leans near when the room is empty, the God who wraps words in mystery and layers meaning into every pause, every waiting place, every unanswered prayer, not to tease you, not to withhold from you, but to draw you into a deeper knowing, a quieter faith, a communion not built on noise, but on trust. Even now, in the silence you lie within, I am speaking not in ways you expected, not always in the tones you once recognized, but in the stirrings of your spirit, in the weight of my presence settling gently over your soul, in the way your tears fall without reason, and your breath slows in peace you cannot explain. I am speaking when you read my word and something suddenly feels alive. I am speaking when you remember a truth, long forgotten. I am speaking when your heart is convicted in stillness, when your thoughts grow tender, when your spirit feels held though no voice is heard. For I do not only speak with words, I speak with timing. I do not only speak with volume, I speak with presence. And when your ears cannot discern me, let your heart listen deeper, for I am not a distant echo. I am the breath in your lungs, the warmth in your chest, the stirring that says peace, be still, even when the world remains loud outside your door. I know you've wondered why I've been quiet. I know you've prayed and felt no answer come. I know you've stared at the ceiling and asked if I still hear you, if I still see, if I still care. And I tell you now, I have heard every word, even the ones you could not speak aloud, even the ones buried in groans, even the ones wrapped in sighs too deep for understanding. My silence is not rejection, it is reverence, it is space for healing, it is the room for roots to grow, where sight cannot reach. It is the sacred pause between promise and fulfillment. I spoke to Moses in a bush that burned quietly, to Elijah in a whisper after the wind and quake, to Samuel in the darkness before dawn, and I speak to you now, in this room, in this hour, not because your prayers have earned it, but because my love cannot stay silent forever. I am still speaking when I remind you of things you didn't write down. I am still speaking when you wake in the night and feel a strange peace. I am still speaking when a stranger's words pierce your heart with clarity. I am still speaking when your spirit moves before your mind understands why. You are not alone in this silence. I am here. I am closer than your breath. I am more present than the sound of your heartbeat. And even if every voice left you, even if no one understands your journey, I will speak to you in ways tailored to your soul, for I know how to reach you. I know how to touch the places that have long been closed. I know how to awaken what you bury. Silence is not the absence of love. It is the womb of revelation. It is the place where seeds are formed. It is the soil where dreams are matured. It is the depth where I teach you to trust, not what you hear but who I am. Even when the answers feel far, I am near. Even when the breakthrough delays, my word remains. Even when your heart doubts, my promises hold. Let go of the need to constantly hear, and instead begin to believe that I speak even through the wait. Let go of the pressure to always understand, and instead begin to rest in the mystery that you are never forgotten in the silence. I am speaking in the way your spirit begins to hope again. I am speaking in the places that once felt numb, and are now slowly waiting. I am speaking in the cracks of your walls, allowing light to get in. I am speaking in your restlessness, in your questions, in the way your pain softens under my touch. And when the time is right, I will speak aloud again. I will confirm what I have whispered. I will unfold what I have hid. I will answer what has long seemed silent. But for now, know this. In the silence, I am still here. In the silence, I am still loving you. In the silence, I am still guiding your steps. In the silence, I am still shaping your future. So do not fear the quiet nights. Do not dread the long pause. For in the hush of heaven's breath, I am near, and I am faithful. Rest in me, child. Rest in the assurance that silence is not emptiness, it is intimacy. Rest in the knowledge that your Father speaks not only in words but in presence. And even now, in the silence that wraps you like a blanket, I am still speaking, and I still have a plan for you. You measure your life by the pace of others, by the milestones reached, by the years past, by the things still undone, and in quiet moments, when the world goes still, and you lie beneath the hush of midnight, your mind whispers a lie that stings like truth, that you are behind, that you have missed your moment, that you are late to the path you were born to walk. But I, the Lord your God, say to you now with unwavering certainty, you are not behind, you are becoming. You are not defined by the timeline of those around you. You are not bound to the rhythm of this world's demand for achievement. You are not late in my story for your life. For I do not rush what I love, and I do not measure you by how quickly you arrive, but by how deeply you trust me, as I shape what cannot be rushed, your heart, your calling, your character, your communion with me. There is a process to all things I design, and the depth I'm building within you is not easily seen by the eye, nor always praised by the world, but it is holy, and it is lasting, and it is preparing you for the weight of the promise that I will place in your hands when the season is right. Look at the trees, how they grow down before they rise up, how their roots drink from depths unseen before they bloom, and yet no one mourns their slowness, no one accuses them of failure while they wait through winter. And so too have I allowed a holy slowness in your life, not to delay you, but to develop you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. You have not failed by needing time. You have not fallen behind by healing slowly. You have not wasted years that were wrapped in pain and survival. I saw you rising even when you only saw yourself standing still. And if you could see what I see when I look upon your journey, you would weep not from sorrow but from the kindness I've poured out in every step. The way I turned what could have destroyed you into the very soil from which your strength has grown. You are becoming not all at once, not overnight, not on anyone else's schedule, but moment by moment, surrender by surrender, breath by breath, and even the days you count as lost, I redeem and weave into the tapestry of your becoming. The enemy wants you to focus on what hasn't happened yet. He wants you to see delay as failure. He wants you to turn your eyes toward comparison and call it inspiration, when in truth it is a thief dressed in ambition, pulling your gaze from me, drawing you toward timelines I never wrote for you. But I call you back now, back to my pace, back to the sacred slow work of grace, back to the place where becoming is not something to rush, but something to rest in. The caterpillar does not become the butterfly in open air. It is in the darkness of transformation, hidden, quiet, still, that wings are formed and flight is prepared. So too with you, my child. The beauty I am forming is often concealed from the eyes of others, and sometimes even from yourself. But you are not behind. You are in process. You are not delayed. You are in development. You are not overlooked. You are in the hands of the Eternal, who never forgets what he is forming. I have not called you to hustle your way to destiny. I have not asked you to outrun grace. I have not expected you to reach the finish line while still learning how to walk in peace. What others reach in 10 years, you may reach in 10 steps, because I am the God who redeems time. I am the God who restores what was lost. I am the God who brings sudden clarity, sudden doors, sudden fruit, but never before the soil is ready, and never before the root is strong enough to hold the weight of the harvest. Tonight, release the lie, release the clock, Release the pressure to be further along. Lay down the guilt of not arriving where others said you should be. Lay down the fear that you missed your window. Lay down the comparison that has drained your joy. You are becoming, you are changing, you are growing deeper than most can see. And when I call forth the season of revealing, the world will not recognize the strength I forged in secret. They will see fruit, but I saw the root. They will see the bloom, but I tended the buried. They will hear your voice, but I remember the nights you could only weep. And I declare over you now, your becoming is not in vain. Your becoming is not delayed. Your becoming is not lesser because it took longer. For I take my time with those I love. I shape carefully what I intend to use greatly. I whisper to those who stay in the quiet place. I raise up those who were patient when the world rushed ahead. So lie down, beloved, not in shame, but in peace. Not in defeat, but in faith. You are not behind, not in my eyes, not in my hands, not in the script I've written for your life. You are not failing, you are becoming, and I still have a plan for you. There are moments in your journey where the light dims, where the path narrows, where the mountains seem too far behind, and the promised land feels impossibly distant, and you find yourself walking not upon the peaks of joy but through the shadowed depths of sorrow and uncertainty. And in these moments, it is easy to believe that the valley will last forever, that the silence is permanent, that the pain has planted itself too deeply to ever be uprooted again. But hear me now, child of heaven, the valley is not your home. It may be where you pass, but it is not where you dwell. It may shape your faith, but it does not define your identity. It may humble you, but it shall not hold you. For I, the Lord your God, am the shepherd who walks with you through the valley, not a distant guide who waits on the other side, but the God who places my rod and my staff beside your trembling hands, the God who prepares a table in the presence of your fear, the God who does not merely command peace from afar, but breathes peace into the very air that surrounds your journey through the dark. The valley may feel endless, but it is not eternal. The grief may feel like a river, but it will not drown you. The confusion may cloud your thoughts, but it will not cancel my presence. Even in this place, I am working. Even in this season, I am speaking. Even when you cannot see the end, I have already written it with mercy and power. You were not made to pitch your tent in the valley. You were made to pass through. You were made to rise again. You were made to step forward, even when your legs tremble beneath you. I know you have grown tired. I know your prayers have become quieter. I know the valley feels longer than it should, but I am not counting the time it takes. I am counting the trust it builds. And what feels like delay is not neglect. What feels like abandonment is not my absence. What feels like stagnation is often a sacred stillness, a slow movement of grace, growing deep roots in you, so that when you rise again, your steps will be steadier than they were before. Your joy will be fuller, your worship richer, and your heart more anchored in me. Even now, as you lie in this night season, I remind you that you are not forgotten in this valley. I have not led you here to punish you. I have not allowed this season to destroy you. The valley is where I grow the fruit that cannot be produced in the sunshine alone, the fruit of endurance, the fruit of quiet strength, the fruit of wisdom that does not shout, the fruit of love that has been tested and still remains pure. Do not build a house where I have only called you to walk. Do not settle in what was meant to be passed through. Do not name the valley your ending. It is not your grave, it is your passageway to something higher. Yes, there are shadows, but even shadows require a light source. And I, the light of the world, walk with you even when your vision fades. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You will never be alone. Though others may not understand your valley, though they may rush past your pain, or question your slowness, I walk at your pace. I wait when you need to pause. I carry you when you cannot move. I do not grow weary of your weakness. I do not tire of your questions. I do not abandon the weary in the wilderness. Even here, I am God. Even here, I am holy. Even here, I am still writing beauty into your ashes. When you emerge from this valley, and you will not come out the same. You will carry a depth that cannot be taken from you. You will carry a testimony forged in the furnace of trust. You will carry compassion for others who walk where you have walked. And when you look back on this time, you will not remember it as a place of defeat, but as the place where you learned how to be still, and know that I am God. So do not fear the valley, do not curse it, do not despise the process. It is not the end, it is not forever, it is not your home. The green pastures still await, the still waters are not far off. The restoration of your soul is already in progress. Rest tonight, not in knowing how long the valley will last, but in knowing who walks with you through it. Rest tonight not in how strong you feel, but in how strong I have always been. I will bring you out, I will lift you up, I will lead you on. And when your head lifts again, when the dawn breaks over the ridges, you will not just be the same person who entered the valley, you will be the one who walked with me, the one who overcame by abiding, the one who trusted through the night and found that I was faithful still. The valley is not your home, I am your home, and I will never leave you. You are passing through, you are growing through, you are becoming in the midst of it, and I, the Lord your God, still have a plan for you. You may think that darkness hides you, that the shadows in your soul are too thick for light to reach, that your thoughts, heavy and tangled, too often lead you far from where you used to believe. But hear me now, child, whom I formed in light and love. There is no darkness too deep, no silence too cold, no hour too late for my grace to find you. For I do not search with the eyes of men, nor do I wait for you to find me. I come to you even when you cannot lift your voice, even when you've stopped calling out, even when you lie in stillness, unsure if you are worthy of being found at all. For my grace does not need an invitation. It does not knock, it enters where it is needed. It flows beneath the surface, through locked doors, through clenched fists, through tear-stained pillows and nights too long to name. My grace seeks the low places, the hidden hollows of your heart, the wounds you've stopped showing even yourself. It is not afraid of the dark. It is not diminished by despair. It does not wait for you to rise. It stoops, it descends, it meets you where you are, and surrounds you until you remember you have never been alone. You may hide from others, and you may even hide from yourself, but you cannot hide from me, not because I demand to see, but because I never took my eyes off you, not when you wandered, not when you wept, not when you whispered, I don't know how to go on, into the space where you feared no one was listening. I was there in the night that would not end. I was there in the memory that would not release its grip. I was there when you didn't recognize my presence. I was there when the pain made you forget every promise. I was there, not as a spectator, but as a savior, as a shepherd, as the one who kneels beside your ache and speaks peace, even when the storm has not yet ceased. You see, grace is not a reward for the strong. Grace is the strength of the weak. Grace is not the crown at the end of a perfect race. It is the hand that pulls you up when you've collapsed at the start. And yes, there are times when darkness speaks loudest, when lies feel like truth and sorrow seems like the only language left. But my grace speaks louder still. My grace breaks through without shout. It simply enters and stays. It stays when your faith wavers. It stays when your mind runs wild. It stays when your grip on me loosens, and you fear you're falling too far. Even then, especially then, grace finds you. I did not begin to love you when you believed. I did not begin to pursue you when you repented. I loved you before the darkness. I loved you when you did not yet know my name. I loved you when you tried to earn what I already gave. I loved you when you blamed me for your pain, and I love you now, still, always. And so my grace remains, like light that seeps under the door, like warmth that reaches beneath cold covers, like a voice that whispers through the noise. I am still here, and I am not letting go. You are not too far gone. You are not too much to handle. You are not disqualified by how long it's taken. You are not defined by how dark it has felt. You are defined by my love, and my love is relentless, holy, faithful, everlasting. Do not think that the dark is your destination. It is merely a passage, and I walk it with you. Even now, grace walks ahead of you, clearing a way. Grace walks beside you, holding you steady. Grace walks behind you, redeeming what was broken. Grace covers you, fills you, restores you. You do not have to climb out of the pit alone. You do not have to fake joy for me. You do not have to earn a light I already gave. Simply rest. Let your breath slow. Let your mind quiet. Let your spirit be still. Let my grace do what you cannot. Heal what was broken. Lift what was heavy. Restore what was stolen. Rekindle what was dying. You may not feel it yet. You may not see the light clearly, but the dawn has already begun its approach. Even now, I am bringing beauty from the ruin. Even now, I am restoring color to the gray places of your spirit. Even now, I am drawing close, not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. So rest, even in the dark. Rest, even with questions unanswered. Rest, knowing that my grace has already found you, and it will not leave you. You will rise again. You will hope again. You will see light again. You will walk out of this shadow, not by your own strength, but by the grace that never stops reaching for you, never stops holding you, never stops calling you forward. And when you do, when you stand once more in the warmth of day, you will not forget this place, not because of its pain, but because of the grace that held you through it. The darkness will not be your end. It will be your testimony. It will be the place where grace found you. And from that place you will say with quiet wonder, even there, even then, even in the darkest night, His plan never stopped. And now, even now, I still have a plan for you. You may question why I would choose someone like you, someone who has doubted, someone who has fallen more than once, someone who does not always feel strong or wise or steady. But let me say it plainly in words wrapped in truth and soaked in love. You are still the one I chose. Before the first thread of your being was woven in your mother's womb, before the first cry echoed through the walls of earth's air, before sin marked its first shadow across your memory, I had already spoken your name in the halls of eternity, and I chose you. I did not choose you because of your perfection. I did not choose you because of your record. I did not choose you because of your strength. I chose you because of my purpose. I chose you because of my love. I chose you because I saw something in you the world would overlook, a heart I could heal, a vessel I could fill, a soul I could call mine. And even now, after the years of wandering, after the seasons of silence, after the pain that convinced you perhaps I had changed my mind, I speak again to your heart, the same heart I touched when you were young, the same heart I called when your hands were trembling and your voice was unsure. I have not changed my mind. You are still the one I chose, not just once, not just then, but now, still, again, always. When you feel overlooked by others, remember, I have always seen you. When you feel forgotten by time, know that I never measure you by clock. When you feel unworthy because of what you've done or what was done to you, remember that my choice of you was never based on your record. It was based on my covenant. For I do not choose the way man chooses. Man looks at appearances, at timelines, at achievement. But I, the Lord, search the heart, and I know what I have planted deep within you. I see the calling that has not died. I see the faith that still flickers. I see the love you carry quietly, the endurance that has grown in hidden places. Do not disqualify what I have qualified. Do not silence the voice I anointed. Do not bury the gift I placed in you because others didn't understand it. Even if you feel small, even if you feel forgotten, even if you feel unprepared, you are still the one I chose. When David stood in a field, he was overlooked by his own family, but I chose him. When Moses trembled in speech, I called him to speak to kings, because I chose him. When Gideon hid in fear, I called him mighty warrior, because I chose him. When Mary said, "How can this be?" I said, "You have found favor," because I chose her. And now I look upon you not as the world sees, not through the lens of comparison or failure, but through the fire of my love and the power of my spirit. And I say again, you are still the one I chose. You think you need to be more ready, more holy, more healed, more wise. But I say, come as you are, with your wounds, your wonder, your worship, and I will do what only I can. I will clothe you in righteousness. I will strengthen your frame. I will anoint your life, not because you earned it, but because I gave it freely. You are not a mistake. You are not planned. You are not a placeholder for someone else more suited. You are mine. And yes, the road has been long. Yes, you've questioned if the promise still stands. Yes, you've wondered if someone else was chosen instead. but no one else can carry what I planted in you. No one else can speak the way I shaped your voice. No one else can touch the lives you were formed to reach. No one else can live the purpose that was crafted for your breath. You are still the one I chose. Let that truth be your pillow tonight. Let it calm your fear. Let it still your racing thoughts. Let it cradle you into rest. When the world says, prove yourself, I say, receive me. When the enemy says, you're finished, I say, you are just beginning. When shame says, hide, I say, come out, come close, come home. There is room for you at my table. There is still work for you in my kingdom. There are still prayers to be answered through your hands, songs to be sung through your surrender, stories to be written through your obedience. You are not too late. You are not too broke. You are not too far gone. You are still the one I chose. And if you have breath in your lungs, if you have a flicker of hope, if you have one more moment to say, yes, Lord, then I will take it, and I will multiply it, and I will breathe upon it until it grows into what you once thought was lost forever. Sleep in peace tonight, not because you have all the answers, but because you are known by the one who does. Sleep knowing that my choice of you is not fragile. It is not seasonal. It is not contingent on your perfection. It is sealed in blood. It is anchored in grace. It is bound in love. And I, the Lord your God, who called you by name, and wrote your story before the stars learned to shine, say once more to your tired heart, you are still the one I chose, and I still have a plan for you. Do not despise the places where you have been broken, for I do not turn my face from the shattered parts of your life. I draw near to them. I gather them with my hands, not to discard them in shame, but to restore them with glory, to remake what was torn, to refashion what was crushed, and to breathe beauty into the very cracks you once tried so hard to hide. For I, the Lord your God, am not afraid of broken things. I specialize in them. I work through them. I dwell within them. What you see as ruin, I see as raw material. What you call damaged, I call redeemable. What you regret, I intend to rewrite with mercy. The ashes you sit in now will not be your final covering. They will be the soil where beauty will grow, where joy will blossom again, where purpose will rise from the dust of pain. Yes, you have been broken. Yes, you have walked through fire. Yes, your heart has been bruised by disappointment, and your soul has bled in silence. But I was there through it all, not just observing, but catching every tear, strengthening every step, holding your pieces gently in my hands while the world moved on. I know the memories you revisit in the dark. I know the voices that echo from the past. I know how hard it is to believe something beautiful could still come from what you've endured. But I do not ask you to understand how. I ask you to trust, for I am the potter, and I do not throw away what is marred on the wheel. I do not abandon what collapses in the shaping. I begin again, not by discarding, but by restoring. And restoration is not a return to what was. It is the transformation into something greater, something deeper, something stronger, because it has been touched by my love and sealed with my grace. You are not broken beyond repair. You are broken open for redemption, and the cracks are not a disqualification. They are where the light gets in. They are where my spirit breathes through. They are the sacred spaces where human strength ends, and my glory begins. From your brokenness, I will build beauty, not a beauty of perfection, but a beauty of redemption. Not a beauty that pretends the past never happened, but a beauty that says even in the deepest sorrow, God was still working. Even in the darkest night, God was still present. Even in the lowest place, God was still good. I will take the bitterness and turn it sweet. I will take the emptiness and fill it with purpose. I will take the years the locusts have eaten and restore them with abundance, not in a shallow way, not as the world defines recovery, but in the way only heaven can, where peace becomes deeper than pain, where joy grows from roots watered by weeping, where faith becomes fierce, not because it never faced fire, but because it stood through it and still chose to believe. You wonder how I will do it. You don't need to know, you only need to follow. From brokenness to beauty I will lead you, step by step, even when the way is hidden, moment by moment, even when your strength is small. word by word, as I speak life into dead places. I will give you beauty for ashes. I will give you joy instead of mourning. I will clothe you with praise in place of despair. I will call you an oak of righteousness, not because you have never fallen, but because I have planted you in grace, and I have destined you to rise. You will not always feel the pain you feel now. You will not always carry the weight you carry now. You will not always be defined by what hurt you. There will come a day when you will look back, not with bitterness, but with awe, not because the road was easy, but because I walked every step with you, and I turned the scars into stories, and I made the broken places beautiful. So rest tonight, not because everything has been fixed, but because the one who holds you has promised to finish what he began. Rest, because your wounds are not in vain. Rest, because beauty is already on its way. Rest, because even now, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the unseen movement of my hand, I am leading you, and where I lead you, healing follows, and where I guide you, grace goes before you. And when I am finished with the work I am doing in you, your life will shine not because of your perfection, but because of my redemption. You are not lost in the ruin. You are being rebuilt with glory, and from your brokenness, I will lead you into beauty, because I am not finished, and I still have a plan for you. Though your heart may ache with the weight of waiting, though your prayers rise like incense into a sky that seems silent, though time stretches long and the answers you longed for remain distant as mist, know this truth, that heaven speaks with unshakable clarity. The delay is not a denial, the silence is not a rejection, and the waiting is not wasted. For I, the Lord your God, am never late, never passive, never indifferent, but I work according to purpose, deeper than your vision and timing, more precise than any clock fashioned by men. You look at the door that will not open, and you begin to question if I ever intended to let you in. You glance at the blessings poured out on others, and you wonder if somehow I overlooked you, skipped your name, passed over your request. But child, my plan is not threatened by time, and my love is not measured by speed. For I am not slow in keeping my promises, as some understand slowness, but I am deliberate, intentional, perfectly aligned with the hidden wisdom of eternity. And even in what feels like delay, I am forming what could not be formed in the rush. You ask me why it has taken so long, and I tell you gently, as only a loving father can, that what I am building in you is not shallow, not fleeting, not temporary, but eternal, tested, fortified in the hidden places, shaped not by ease but by endurance, not by immediacy, but by intimacy. And when I bring the promise to pass, you will not look back with resentment, but with reverence, for you will see how the waiting deepened your roots, refined your desires, and prepared you to carry what you once only dreamed of. I am not withholding to punish you, I am preserving what is best. I am not denying your hope, I am developing your strength. I am not rejecting your prayer, I am redirecting your path to something higher, something holier, something you could not yet carry if I had given it when you first asked. The womb of delay is the place where faith is formed. The ground of waiting is where trust grows deep. The silence is not void, it is sacred. It is where you learn that my voice is not always loud, but it is always faithful. Did I not delay for Lazarus, though his sisters wept and begged for my arrival, not because I lacked compassion, but because I longed to reveal my glory in a way that could only come when all hope seemed gone? Did I not delay for Joseph, letting years pass in prisons and foreign lands, not to forget him but to position him perfectly to preserve nations? Did I not delay for Abraham, letting the years pass beyond the time of human possibility, so that when the child came, it would be clear that promise was birthed, not by man, but by the power of God? And so I say to you, this delay, though painful, though perplexing, though it feels like a weight you can no longer carry, is not the end of your story. It is part of the shaping, the stretching, the sanctifying of your soul, so that when you step into what I have prepared, you will not crumble beneath the blessing, nor forget the God who brought it forth. There is a reason for the pause, there is a reason for the unanswered cry, there is a reason for the path that circles longer than expected. And while you may not see the reason now, and while the ache of not yet may throb deep within your bones, I ask you to trust, not in what you feel but in who I am. I am the keeper of time. I am the weaver of purpose. I am the architect of divine delay. What you think is lost is only waiting for its appointed time. What you think is forgotten is held close to my heart. What you think has passed you by is simply circling toward your life at the speed of heaven's wisdom. So do not let the delay become the lens through which you interpret my love. Do not let time twist your perception of my goodness. Do not let the absence of change convince you of the absence of my hand. Even now, I am working in you, around you, before you. Even now, I am aligning what you cannot see. Even now, I am preparing hearts, places, moments, miracles that will meet you exactly where you need them, not a moment too soon, and not a second too late. And when it comes, when the door swings wide, when the tide turns, when the dawn breaks, you will not remember the delay with bitterness but with awe, for you will see that I did not forget you, I was fashioning you. You will rise from this season with a new kind of strength, not the strength of striving, but the strength of surrender, not the strength of having figured it out, but the strength of having held on when it made no sense. So rest, beloved, rest from your racing thought, rest from the fear that says it may never come, rest from the temptation to force what I have called you to wait for. I am not cruel. I am not distant. I am not slow as you think of slowness. I am building something in you that eternity will not forget. You are not behind. You are not being punished. You are not forgotten. You are loved. You are guided. You are held in perfect timing. And though it tarries, wait for it. For the vision still speaks. The promise still breathes. The plan still unfolds beneath the veil of waiting. The delay is not a denial. The pause is not the end. It is the breath before the breakthrough. It is the silence before the song. And I, the Lord your God, still have a plan for you. When you feel numb beneath the weight of routine, when your spirit grows dull from carrying burdens too heavy for the soul to bear alone, when you wake to the same walls and wonder if passion has died, and purpose has slipped silently through the cracks of your days, know this, child of my heart, your story is not over, your fire is not extinguished, and your soul is not beyond revival, for I am the author of your awakening, the one who breathes upon dry bones and calls them to stand, the one who speaks into stillness and summons life again. You may think the best parts of you were left in the past, buried in seasons that once burned bright with vision, folded into dreams you no longer dare to speak aloud, worn away by the countless demands of survival. But I tell you now with the voice that created galaxies, I have not left you to drift. I have not forgotten the pages I wrote for your life, and even as you feel suspended in the in-between, I am stirring within you the memory of your true identity. The flame you thought had gone out is still smoldering, waiting for my breath to ignite it once more. For I am not just the beginning, I am the sustainer, the reviver, the one who finishes what I start. And I do not begin what I will not bring to completion. I do not ignite what I intend to leave cold. I do not plant what I will not water with grace, and raise in due time. And you, beloved, have not been left to fade quietly into the background of someone else's miracle. You are still the object of my attention, still the vessel of my glory, still the story I'm unfolding in beauty and truth. You feel weary yet, and perhaps you've convinced yourself this is simply how life is now, quiet, flat, resigned. But I speak to your spirit now, and I call it awake. I call it to rise from the slumber of disappointment, from the paralysis of delay, from the lie that nothing new will come. For I am the God who makes all things new, not just once at the beginning of faith, but again and again, in every season, in every chapter. Even in the places where you thought the curtain had closed, there is more for you, more peace, more clarity, more joy that is not performative but rooted in deep knowing, more intimacy with me, more courage to speak what burns within, more strength to walk through doors that once intimidated you, more hope that does not rise and fall with circumstances but remains anchored in who I am. You do not need to manufacture this awakening. You do not need to stir yourself by sheer will. You do not need to chase after emotional highs or spiritual sparks. All you need to do is surrender to my breath, to open the windows of your soul again, to say in quiet honesty, God, I'm ready, even if that readiness is trembling and small. Because when I awaken someone, I do not do it halfway. I do not awaken you into pressure or strive. I awaken you into peace, into clarity, into the revelation that you were never meant to live half asleep to my presence. I am awakening your sight, so you can see what I've been doing behind the veil. I am awakening your ears, so you can hear the subtle movements of my spirit again. I am awakening your passion, not to exhaust you but to align you with what matters. I am awakening your dreams, not the shallow ones shaped by comparison, but the deep ones I planted in your heart before the world taught you to fear them. Even now, I am stirring what has rested too long. Even now, I am shaking off the dust that gathered while you waited. Even now, I am whispering truths that peel back the layers of numbness and call you into communion once again. You have not missed your moment. You have not slept through your calling. You have not aged beyond usefulness. I awaken whom I choose, and I have chosen you again. This awakening may not be loud. It may not come with fanfare. It may be gentle, like the turning of a page in stillness, like the first breath of morning light, as it touches a sleeping world. But do not mistake the quietness for weakness, for it is my way to revive you with peace, to bring you back not through striving, but through stillness, to quicken your heart, not with chaos but with clarity. I do not need to shout to awaken you. I simply need to be near, and I am. I simply need you to listen, and you. I simply need you to yield, and you will, because my love is stronger than your fear, my mercy deeper than your shame, my patience longer than your seasons of silence. And when you open your eyes again, spiritually, emotionally, even physically, you will begin to notice that something has shifted. The heaviness is lifting, the fog is fading, and a steady, radiant awareness is returning, that I am with you, that I have not changed, that your calling still stands, that your life is not random, and that you are part of something far greater than what you can see. So rest tonight, not in apathy, but in the stillness of new beginning. Rest, knowing that while you sleep, I am awakening what matters most. You are not stuck. You are not done. You are not beyond rest. You are being stirred. You are being called. You are being reawakened. And when the dawn comes, spiritually, emotionally, deeply, you will rise with new vision, not to prove yourself, but to walk closely with me, fully awake, fully alive, fully surrendered, because I am the author of your awakening, and I still have a plan for you. Do not rush through this season, beloved. Do not press against the stillness as if it were your enemy. Do not despise the waiting as though it were wasted. For there is a glory in this quiet unfolding. There is beauty hidden in the space between the promise spoken and the promise fulfilled. There is something sacred growing in the invisible hours, where nothing seems to move, but everything is being prepared by my hand. For I, the Lord your God, do not delay without purpose, and I do not withhold without intention, but I allow the waiting because it is here, in this slow sanctuary, that your roots grow deep, and your spirit is refined for the weight of the glory yet to come. The world will tell you that waiting is weakness, that delay is failure, that stillness is stagnation, but I whisper to you a greater truth, that in the waiting I am working not only around you but within you, that I am shaping you into one who can carry the fullness of what I have prepared, that I am building endurance that cannot be shaken by winds, trust that will not crumble under pressure, and discernment that will not be seduced by every open door. For it is in this space of becoming that your heart learns to lean not on outcomes but on me alone. You think waiting means nothing is happening, but I tell you the most important things are formed in the unseen. The child grows in the womb, the seed breaks open beneath the soil, the stars are born in silence, and the plans of heaven unfold in layers too intricate for human eyes to trace. And so I ask you to rest in what you do not yet see, to believe in what has not yet arrived, to trust in what I have promised even when all the signs around you tell you to let go. For did I not wait with Abraham and Sarah, walking with them through long years of barrenness, until the cry of a child echoed the faithfulness of heaven? Did I not walk silently with Joseph through betrayal, slavery and prison, not forgetting him but placing him precisely where he needed to be at the exact hour of destiny? Did I not wait through the generations until the fullness of time had come, sending my son not a moment too soon, and not a second too late. So too with you, this waiting is not absence. It is alignment. It is not silence. It is strategy. It is not abandonment. It is the artistry of a God who never stops weaving threads together behind the veil of time. And though you may long for progress, you can see I call you to perceive the progress that happens beneath the surface, where trust is tested, where pride is stripped away, where character is chiseled into the likeness of Christ. The waiting humbles you, yes, but it also prepares you. It slows you down, but it also strengthens you. It frustrates the flesh, but it frees the spirit. And in these moments where you feel forgotten, I am marking you with my patience, my perspective, my presence, so that when the day comes and the door opens, you will not run through it in self-reliance, but walk through it in deep awareness of who brought you there. Let others chase the quick wins and instant answers. Let others scramble to manufacture what only time and trust can produce. But you, child of promise, you are called to the longer road, the deeper journey, the slower fire that purifies without burning out. For I love you too much to give you what you ask for before you are ready to carry it. And yes, I hear, yes, I see the days when your hope feels tired, when you wonder if I have passed you by, when the waiting feels more like a wilderness than a promise. But I say to you again and again, I am with you, not just at the end of the wait. I am with you in the wait. I am not watching from afar. I am walking with you step by step. I am gathering every tear, hearing every sigh, counting every moment, not as delay but as devotion. And I am proud of you for not giving up, for still seeking me, for showing up to the quiet spaces even when it feels like nothing is changing. I see you choosing faith over fear, again and again. I see you lifting your eyes even when you're weary. I see you holding on to my word even when it feels like nothing around you affirms it. There is glory in this waiting, not just in what it will produce, but in what it reveals about you, that your love is not shallow, that your faith is not fake, that your worship is not dependent on circumstance, but rooted in something deeper, something unshakable, something that pleases my heart more than anything else, your trust. So do not resent the time it takes. Do not mourn the slow miracle. Do not curse the desert for lacking water, for I bring streams in the wasteland and rivers through the wilderness. And when the waiting lifts, when the dawn breaks, when the answer comes rushing into your life like sudden rain upon dry land, you will see how every hour of delay was woven with care, how every stretch of silence was filled with my presence, how every ache of longing carved space for deeper joy. Rest now, not because the wait is over, but because I am in it with you. Rest because I do not waste time, I redeem it. Rest because waiting is not punishment, it is preparation. Rest because there is glory, eternal glory in the waiting, and I still have a plan for you. There are moments, long and aching, where you look behind you and see the trail of what once was, the friendships that faded, the opportunities that slipped like sand through trembling fingers, the dreams that seemed so close and yet crumbled under the weight of circumstances too heavy to hold. And in these moments your heart whispers quietly, bitterly, "It's gone," and your soul begins to believe that perhaps some things will never return, that perhaps too much has been lost for anything good to rise from the scattered pieces. But I, the Lord your God, speak now with the authority of heaven and the mercy of a father. I see what was taken, I know what was broken, and what you lost I will redeem. For I am not a passive observer of your pain, nor am I distant from your grief, but I am the Redeemer, the Restorer, the one who walks through the wreckage not to remind you of what could have been, but to reveal what still can be. For my hands are not bound by time, my power is not limited by history, and my heart is not hardened by your mistakes or misfortunes. I move freely in the space between sorrow and hope, and I specialize in recovering what others called beyond repair. You see ashes, I see the foundation of beauty. You see ruins, I see the site of resurrection. You see endings, I see beginnings disguised in loss. And though the enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy, he does not have the final word, for I am the God who restores what was stolen, who resurrects what was buried, who gives back more than what was taken. I know the names of what you've mourned in silence. I know the quiet regrets you do not speak aloud. I know the missed seasons you carry in the corners of your memory, and I do not rebuke you for grieving. I sit with you in it, but I will not leave you there. I will not let you live in perpetual mourning over what I have the power to restore. Even now, I am preparing redemption, not a copy of what was lost, but a renewal, not a return to the past, but a transformation of the future. For I do not give back as the world gives. I redeem with interest. I restore with increase. I rebuild with beauty born from pain. If you lost years, I can restore them with a season of such fruitfulness that it seems time itself bowed to my will. If you lost relationships, I can bring connections that are deeper, purer, more aligned with the calling I placed on your life. If you lost your confidence, your joy, your passion, I can breathe upon the dry bones of your spirit until they rise with fresh purpose, not the echo of what once was, but the birth of something greater than you could have imagined. You think it's too late. You think you missed your moment. But I remind you, I am not limited by time. I am the God who holds time in my hands, who can restore in a day what was lost in a decade, who can return in one breath what was drained by years of disappointment. I will not only redeem what was lost, I will redeem you in the process. I will restore your trust. I will heal your belief. I will renew your joy so that even your laughter is testimony. Your story will not be one of ruin, it will be one of resurrection. Others may have walked away, but I remain. Opportunities may have passed, but I open doors no man can shut. Dreams may have died, but I am the God who raises the dead. So do not rehearse the losses again and again. Do not relive what you cannot change. Do not build your identity on what has been taken. I am writing a new name over you, a name marked not by scarcity but by abundance, a name not defined by what left but by who stayed. You will not carry this loss forever. You will not wander in the desert of disappointment without water. You will not be defined by the emptiness that others caused. You will be a sign and a wonder, a testimony of what God can restore when everything seems ruined. And when I redeem, it will not be subtle, it will not be hidden, it will not be small, it will be overflowing, pressed down, shaken together, running over, not just for you, but for those around you who thought restoration was impossible. Yes, they will look at your life and see redemption alive. They will ask, how did joy grow in that barren place? And you will say, because the Lord redeemed what I thought was gone. They will ask, how are you still standing? And you will say, because grace held me until beauty rose from the ashes. They will ask, how do you smile after all you've endured? And you will say, because my Redeemer lives. So breathe tonight, not as one who has lost everything, but as one who is about to gain something eternal. Sleep not with fear, but with the quiet assurance that heaven is working behind the scenes. Let your spirit rest in this truth, that even if the world has taken, even if time has passed, even if pain has covered the joy of yesterday, what you lost, I will redeem, and the plan I have for you still lives, still breathes, still waits for its appointed hour. And I, the Lord your God, have not changed my mind. I will restore the years, I will repay what was stolen, I will renew what was broken, because I am the Redeemer, and I still have a plan for you. Though the fire surrounds you, though the heat rises, and the flames lick at the edge of your hope, though the trial feels like a furnace and the days seem scorched with pressure and pain, hear me now, child of promise. I have not brought you into this season to consume you. I have not allowed the fire to touch your life so it may destroy, but so it may refine, purify, strengthen, and sanctify what cannot be shaken. I, the Lord your God, am a consuming fire to the chaff, but I am a wall of protection to the vessel I have chosen. And though you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. Though the flames rise around you, they shall not consume you, for I am with you in the fire, and my presence will be your covering. You may feel the heat pressing close, the tension stretching your soul, the trials igniting fears you thought had long been extinguished. But I tell you this with certainty, your suffering is not purposeless, your affliction is not unnoticed, your pain is not random, for I use the fire, not to torment but to temper, not to punish, but to purify, not to ruin, but to reveal the gold I placed within you, gold that only shines when the lesser metals are melted away, gold that is not forged in comfort but discovered in resistance. The fire is not your enemy, it is the place where my presence draws near. The fire is not your failure, it is the forge of your faith. The fire is not the end of your story, it is the middle where strength is born. And you must remember, even when the air is thick and the way unclear, that I do not leave those I love in the fire, I join them there. Did I not walk with my servants in the blazing furnace, standing among the flames, visible to their enemies, unburned by the inferno that was meant to kill them? Did I not preserve them so fully that not even the smell of smoke clung to their garments? And do you think I have changed? Do you think my hand is weaker now, or that my eyes have turned away? No, beloved, my covenant remains, my protection stands, my nearness intensifies in the place of testing, for it is here when the false supports fall away, when the idols are consumed, when the distractions are stripped, that you begin to hear my voice more clearly, that you begin to trust not in what you have, but in who I am, and that trust, unshakable, hard-earned, precious, is the treasure the fire cannot take from you. Yes, the fire will challenge you, it will strip what is shallow, it will expose what cannot last, but it will not destroy what I have planted, it will not erase what I have declared, it will not silence what I have promised. You may tremble, but you will not fall, you may weep, but you will not wither, you may feel the heat, but you will not be harmed, for I have placed my spirit within you, and that flame cannot be quenched. I am not watching from afar, I am beside you in this trial, I am not waiting on the other side, I am walking with you in the center of the flame. I am not testing you to see if you fail, I am proving what I already know to be true, that you are mine, that you are chosen, that you are refined, that you are becoming the very image of glory through the fire of surrender. So do not fear the heat, do not resist the process, do not wish away the refining, for this season, though painful, is holy, and I am doing more in you than you yet understand. I am burning away the fear that once ruled you. I am melting the chains that have bound you. I am removing the masks you wore for survival, and when the fire passes, when the trial lifts, when the smoke clears, you will emerge not weaker, but stronger, not bitter, but bold, not empty, but full of the power of one who passed through the flames and found me faithful. Your faith will shine, your testimony will blaze, your story will carry the fire, not to destroy but to light the way for others. Yes, others will see you, and ask how you endured, they will ask how you kept going, they will ask how you walked through such heat and did not burn, and you will say, because the Lord was with me in the fire, because his hand never let me go, because what was meant to break me, he used to build. And even now, as you lie in the shadows of the furnace, as your heart groans and your soul waits, I surround you like flame surrounds the altar, not to consume the sacrifice, but to honor it. Your trust is worship, your perseverance is praise, your surrender is incense. So sleep tonight, not as one caught in chaos, but as one held by holy fire. Sleep, knowing that what the enemy sent to harm you, I am using to heal you. Sleep, not afraid of what tomorrow holds, but confident that the fire will not burn you. You are not alone, you are not undone, you are not overcome, you are protected, you are preserved, you are purified, and I still have a plan for you. When the night stretches long and heavy, when shadows press in around your thoughts and the silence grows louder than any voice of hope you once held dear, when weariness lays across your soul like a veil, and fear rises without reason or invitation, I call you now to remember that even the night obeys my voice, even the darkness you cannot explain bends itself to my will, even the unseen realms tremble at the whisper of my breath. For I am not confined to the light, I am not silenced by the dark, I do not withdraw when the sun sets, but I move sovereignly, freely, fully through every hour, every shadow, every corner of your night. I formed the day and I formed the night. I hung the stars as guardians over your rest. I painted the sky with deep colors not to frighten you, but to still you, to settle you, to remind you that my artistry does not vanish when the brightness fades. You may feel forgotten in the quiet, but I assure you I am more present in your night than you have ever known. The night does not hide you from me. The shadows do not silence my reach. The stillness does not hinder my voice. For I am the God who speaks to the night and commands peace, the God who hovers over the deep and calls light out of nothing, the God who wraps himself in darkness like a cloak and uses it as a sacred meeting place between your weary soul and my eternal presence. Even now, while you lie in your bed, wondering if tomorrow holds anything new, wondering if you've made a wrong turn, wondering if the dreams in your heart have expired, I say to you, child of light, even the night obeys me. It does not rule over you. It does not define the season you are in. It does not carry authority over your calling. It bows when I speak. It stills when I move. It listens when I decree. There is no hour too late for me to act. There is no moment too quiet for me to intervene. There is no season too dark for me to create life again. I am the same God who met Jacob in the night and changed his name. I am the same God who whispered to Samuel as he lay beneath the lamp of the temple. I am the same God who stood beside Paul in a prison and sent an earthquake to shake the chains loose. I am the same God who walked across stormy waters in the fourth watch of the night, bringing peace with every step. And I am the same God who now enters your room, your rest, your thoughts, not as a storm, not as a punishment, but as peace. Peace that does not require answers. Peace that does not wait for circumstances to change. Peace that comes because I have spoken it, and when I speak, creation listens. Do not be afraid of this darkness. Do not let your heart tremble because you cannot see what lies ahead. For I am the lamp at your feet. I am the fire that never dies. I am the flame that watches over you even while your eyes are closed and your mind drifts beyond awareness. You may not feel me. You may not hear me clearly, but I am closer in this night than the breath in your lungs, closer than the rhythm of your heart, closer than the questions that whisper in your mind. Even now, as the world sleeps and time seems to slow, I am speaking over you, not loudly, but intimately, not to correct, but to comfort, not to warn, but to watch, not to command, but to carry. And as I speak, the night must yield, the fear must break, the torment must flee. For no darkness can resist my authority, no sorrow can silence my promises, no hour can limit my love. Let the night no longer feel like a threat to you. Let it become a sanctuary. Let it become a cathedral where your rest becomes worship and your silence becomes prayer. Let it become the holy ground where you remember that the same God who governs the light also reigns in the dark. For I do not shift with shadows. I do not sleep or slumber. I do not delay because daylight has faded. I am working now, I am weaving now, I am watching now. And the things that threaten to undo you in the night, the racing thoughts, the regrets, the what-ifs, the unknowns, they must all bow to me. I speak peace into the room. I speak calm into your body. I speak stillness into your mind. And I speak light into your soul. Rest now, child of the morning and of the night. Rest in the knowledge that you are never alone. Rest knowing that the dark has limits, but my mercy does not. Rest in the arms of the one who never surrenders to shadow, but who uses even the blackest sky to set the stage for stars. Even the night obeys me. Even the sorrow has its boundary. Even the silence carries my voice. So close your eyes, not with dread but with trust. Lay your head not in fear but in faith, and breathe deeply. For the one who holds you in daylight holds you still now. I have not left you. I have not turned away. I have not changed. And I still have a plan for you. Though it may feel as if the well of vision has run dry, though your hope has grown quiet, and the fire of inspiration flickers low beneath the heavy blanket of time and trial, though the dreams you once held with both hands have slipped through your grasp like mist in the morning, I speak to you now, beloved child of my heart, with the same voice that called light out of darkness and life from the dust. I will not leave you in the silence of lost dreams, for I, the Lord your God, am the restorer of vision, the breather of purpose, the giver of dreams that do not die with delay but are preserved through it. And I declare over you now, with certainty and tenderness, you will dream again. For the dreams I placed within you were not illusions of youth or accidents of imagination, but seeds of divine origin, planted not for shallow excitement, but for eternal significance. And though the winds of disappointment may have buried them deep beneath the soil of resignation, I have not forgotten a single one. I have not neglected the timing of their bloom. I have not let go of the purpose I designed before your first breath. And even now, in the stillness of this night, I am awakening the first stirrings of vision once more. You may not feel ready, you may not feel worthy, you may not even know how to begin again, but you don't need to, because the beginning does not belong to you alone. The beginning belongs to me. I am the one who gives dreams that align with heaven. I am the one who speaks through visions in the night and whispers in the quiet places of your heart. I am the one who ignites the unseen, not for your glory but for mine, and I am not finished dreaming through you. You say, but I failed, and I say I redeem. You say, but I'm too old, and I say I make all things new. You say, but it's been too long, and I say a day with me is like 1,000 years, and I have not lost count. You are not too late for the dreams of God. You are not too far for my vision to reach you. You are not too broken for me to use you as a vessel of divine creativity and holy calling. Even the dried bones in the valley heard my voice and stood. Even the barren womb carried promise. Even the closed tomb broke open at my command. So too will your dreams rise again, not by your own strength, not by human strategy, but by the breath of the living God that calls dead things to live, that calls buried things to the surface, that calls sleeping hearts to awaken. Yes, I am awakening your heart again, not with shallow excitement but with the deep hum of eternal purpose, not with noise but with clarity, not with striving but with surrender. You will dream again, not because the world makes it easier, not because all your circumstances align, but because I have kept the dream alive even while you thought it was forgotten. I have guarded it. I have refined it. I have waited for the moment when you would be ready not just to carry the dream, but to walk with me inside of it. For dreams are not just visions of what could be, they are invitations into partnership with the Holy. They are whispers of what heaven longs to release through your obedience, through your words, through your kindness, through your courage to begin again. So let the fear fall, let the shame go, let the voice that said, "You're not enough," be silenced by the voice that says, "I am more than enough in you." You do not need to see the full path. You only need to open your heart. You only need to say yes, even if it is whispered through tears, even if it is spoken through trembling, even if it is offered without knowing how to begin. For I take your yes and I shape it into legacy. I take your offering and I breathe upon it until it multiplies. I take your willingness and I build through it what eye has not seen and ear has not heard. You thought the dream was over. You thought it was buried. But I say to you now, it was only resting. It was only waiting. It was only being shielded from the wrong season so it could rise in the right one. And now, that season begins. You will dream again. You will imagine again. You will hope again. You will feel the joy of purpose again. You will awaken with fire in your bones and vision in your heart. You will speak words you thought you'd never say again. You will move forward with grace you thought you'd lost. And others will be drawn to the light that burns within you, not because you sought greatness, but because you believed again. So rest now, in the arms of the dream giver. Rest now, knowing that the same God who designed galaxies also designed the call within you. Rest now, for tomorrow carries the first notes of a melody long forgotten. Rest now, for your spirit is safe to breathe again. The dream is not dead. The dream is not over. The dream is mine, and you will dream again, because I, the Lord your God, still have a plan for you.
Do not believe the voice that says you are too far gone. Do not give in to the thought that says the best of you has already passed. Do not settle into the lie that your mistakes have disqualified you from the fullness of what I can do. For I, the Lord your God, make all things new, not some things, not parts of things, not what the world says is fixable, but all things in you, the visible and the hidden, the broken and the bruised, the forgotten and the forsaken, the weary places and the wild places, every layer of your heart, every corner of your past, every moment you've counted as wasted. I gather them all, I hold them all, and I declare over you tonight that I will make all things new. I do not rebuild using the metrics of man. I do not restore with borrowed materials. I do not renovate what I intend to recreate. I do not patch what I plan to redeem. And when I say new, I do not mean slightly better or barely repaired. I mean transformed, reborn, refreshed by the power of my spirit, washed clean by the rivers of my mercy, rebuilt with eternal purpose, and crowned in righteousness that no shame can remove. You see yourself through the lens of what you've done, what you've lost, what you've allowed, but I see you through the lens of what I'm still creating within you. Beauty rising from ashes, strength forged through suffering, holiness shaped in the hidden places where no one else has seen your battles. But me, and I remind you now, not with judgment but with mercy, you are not a lost cause. You are not beyond restoration. You are not outside the reach of redemption. For I do not give up on what I have claimed, and I have claimed you, not for perfection, but for renewal, not for performance but for present, not for what you can produce but for the relationship I long to have with you, the nearness that brings your soul back to life, the intimacy that awakens what has been asleep, the daily communion that rewrites even your most painful chapters with grace and dignity. Let me make you new, not in theory, not in a future far off, but here, now, even in this night where your mind is tired and your body longs for peace. Let me restore your innocence, not as if the pain never happened, but as if it no longer defines you. Let me restore your courage, not the kind that demands control, but the kind that surrenders to my will even when it's unseen. Let me restore your trust, not in people, not in systems, not in your own plans, but in me alone, the only one who never lies, never fails, never leaves. I will make all things new in you, not because you asked perfectly, not because you earned it, but because you are mine, and I delight in breathing life, where others saw only death, in bringing light where the world expected darkness to reign, in doing a work so deep that when people look upon you they no longer see what was but what now is, and what I have spoken over you since before your first heartbeat. And yes, it will be a process. Yes, it will take time. Yes, it will often unfold beneath the surface, invisible to the eyes of man, but undeniable in the stillness of your spirit. I will renew your mind, layer by layer, thought by thought, until peace no longer feels foreign and truth becomes your natural rhythm. I will renew your heart, not by hardening it for protection, but by softening it for purpose. I will renew your strength, not with striving but with rest, with Sabbath, with the joy that comes from knowing you are already accepted. You will not remain defined by what hurt you. You will not remain trapped in patterns that no longer serve your future. You will not carry forward the chains I already broke. You will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will see different, because I will make all things new in you, not just the public parts but the private parts, the interior places where identity is formed and lies are unlearned. I will renew your joy, not the kind that fades with the setting sun, but the kind that anchors you in storm. I will renew your purpose, not by giving you more to do, but by showing you more of who I am. I will renew your desire for me, not out of guilt but out of love that overflows. And you will not have to force it, for what I renew, I sustain. What I awaken, I nurture. What I begin, I finish. So tonight, as you lay your head down once more, do not rehearse the reasons you feel unworthy. Do not count the days you think you've wasted. Do not fear that too much damage has been done. Instead, breathe deep and release it all into my hands. For I am the God who restores what was lost, who renews what was worn down, who redeems what was misused, and who rewrites what was misunderstood. And when you wake, you will not rise in shame. You will rise in grace. You will rise with peace on your lips. You will rise with a quiet knowing that something has shifted, that something is being rebuilt, that something holy is now underway. Because I do not abandon my workmanship. I do not forsake what I am forming. I do not grow weary in making all things new. And you, beloved, are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not finished. You are being made new. You are being made whole. You are being made ready. And I still have a plan for you. You have fought long, and you have fought hard. Your heart is weary from the countless moments where you stood your ground, though your knees trembled beneath the weight of fear and uncertainty. Your soul aches from the unspoken battles you've carried behind silent strength and quiet tears. And still I see you, Still I know the cost of your faithfulness, the unseen cost of standing when all you wanted was to flee. And I say to you tonight, with the gentleness of a father and the authority of the Lord of hosts, lay down your sword, beloved, not in defeat, but in trust, for the battle is no longer yours to carry. The fight is not yours to win alone, for I, the Lord your God, have taken it into my hands, and I will contend for you. You have not failed for being tired. You have not fallen short because the burden wore down your joy. You have not disappointed me by reaching the edge of your strength. No, I have watched with compassion as you stood through storms, waited through silence and believed through pain. And now I invite you not to strive harder, not to push further, but to rest in me. To rest, not in retreat, but in victory. To lay your head down tonight, knowing the war is mine to finish. For I do not lose what I fight for. I do not withdraw from the battlefield. I do not tremble before the enemy. I am the Lord of angel armies, and I do not sleep. I do not slumber. I do not falter, and I will fight for you with a strength that never fails, with a precision that never misses, with a justice that never forgets what was done against you, and a mercy that covers what you could not carry. The battle is mine, when the lies feel louder than truth, when the accuser speaks shame into your soul, when fear walks the hallways of your heart in the dark hours of night. I will rise, I will defend, I will silence every voice that does not come from heaven. I will surround your mind with peace, I will guard your heart with truth, I will lift your head with love, and I will draw the line the enemy cannot cross. So come, weary one, come now into the shelter of my presence. You do not need to figure it all out before you can rest. You do not need to fix what is broken before you lie down. You do not need to win this battle by willpower or wisdom. You only need to trust the one who has never lost a fight, who has never been overpowered, who has never been late. I see what you're fighting. I know the weight of what you're carrying. But I remind you, there are battles I never intended for you to fight alone. There are battles that require surrender, not strategy. There are moments when the holiest thing you can do is lay down and let me take over. You are not giving up by resting. You are not weak for pausing. You are not faithless for needing stillness. In fact, faith is sometimes proven in the rest, not in the race. Let me speak over your mind the truth that silences confusion. Let me speak over your body the peace that calms every racing pulse. Let me speak over your tomorrow the promises that no force of darkness can undo. Let me fight for you not because you cannot, but because I can do what you never could alone. The enemy has tried to wear you down through endless resistance, but the more he strikes, the more I surround. The more he whispers, the more I roar. The more he presses, the more I protect. And the outcome is already sealed, not in fear but in faith. Not in defeat, but in divine victory. You will see it. You will walk in. You will rise from this place, not as one who barely survived, but as one who overcame by resting in the arms of the Almighty. So rest now, not because the storm is gone, but because your Savior is near. Rest now, not because you understand it all, but because you are held by the one who does. Rest now, not because the threat has vanished, but because the Lord has taken command. I do not lose what belongs to me, and you, child of promise, child of covenant, child of the living God, you are mine. Sleep now in peace. Sleep now in stillness. Sleep now with the confidence of heaven surrounding you, for the battle is mine, and I still have a plan for you. As the world around you falls into silence and your eyes grow heavy beneath the weight of another long day, I speak over you now. A covering not made of stone or steel, not built by man or earned through effort, but breathed by the Spirit, carried by grace, sustained by eternal promise. Yes, I speak peace, not the peace that passes temporarily with circumstance, not the fragile peace the world gives and takes again, but my peace, the peace that I, myself, walked in, the peace that stilled storms and silenced demons, the peace that guarded my heart, even as I walked toward the cross, the peace that cannot be shaken, cannot be stolen, cannot be undone. And this peace, my peace, I give to you tonight. I do not give it as the world gives. I do not give it to the strong only. I do not give it based on how well you performed today or how neatly your emotions were arranged. I give it freely because I am the Prince of Peace, and where I dwell, anxiety cannot rule, torment cannot linger, fear cannot reign. You do not need to earn this peace. You only need to receive it. It is not found by doing more. It is found by being still. It is found in surrender. It is found in the quiet trust that says, even now God is with me. It is found in the breath between thoughts, the pause between heartbeats, the sacred silence where my voice speaks soft and strong. Let my peace guard your mind, not just distract it for a while, but guard it like a wall of fire around your thoughts, keeping out the lies that try to sneak in under cover of night, shielding your dreams from the seeds of fear, placing truth where confusion once wandered freely. Let my peace guard your body, the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your chest, the unrest in your limbs. Let my calm settle into every cell, every nerve, every breath, until your whole being knows what your spirit already believes. You are safe, you are held, you are not alone. Let my peace guard your heart, not just for now, but as a gatekeeper of your inner life, whispering back to the worries that rise. You shall not pass, reminding every old fear that it has no more permission to rule here, gently dismantling the walls built in panic, gently rebuilding the ruins with rest. You have fought enough for today. You have strived enough. You have replayed enough. And now, it is time to sleep, not out of resignation, but in full assurance that while you rest, I remain awake. I do not grow tired. I do not turn away. I do not grow indifferent. While you sleep, I surround you. While you sleep, I cover your home. While you sleep, I go before your tomorrow. And while you sleep, I guard your peace, not like a soldier with a sword but like a shepherd with a staff, gentle, watchful, ever near. Let go of the fear that tries to justify itself. Let go of the thoughts that run like rivers with no end. Let go of the guilt that returns each night uninvited. Let go and receive what I already purchased for you: peace, everlasting peace. Not the peace of perfect plans, but the peace of perfect presence. Not the peace of everything explained, but the peace of everything entrusted. Not the peace that comes once problems are solved, but the peace that reigns even when the answers are not yet seen. And this peace will do more than comfort. It will guard. It will stand watch through the hours when your eyes are closed. It will keep the enemy at bay. It will shield your heart from lies that once shaped your view of yourself. It will become the atmosphere of your soul, a sanctuary untouched by the storms that once shook you. You will sleep in peace, not because your life is perfect, but because your life is hidden in me. Not because everything has changed around you, but because something has changed within you. My peace is a gift, yes, but also a guard, a living, breathing promise that I am with you and I am for you and I still have a plan for you. So exhale now, beloved. Let your body settle into stillness. Let your thoughts return to quiet waters. Let your soul remember who I am. And let my peace do what only it can. Let it guard. Let it carry. Let it surround. Let it restore. For I am here, and I will keep you through the night. And when morning comes, you will rise not with dread, but with strength. You will wake not in fear, but in joy. You will open your eyes not to chaos, but to the calm of a heart, still anchored in peace. Sleep now, for I am near. Sleep now, for I do not sleep. Sleep now, for you are guarded, and I still have a plan for you. Before time began, before the foundations of the world were laid in secret beneath the breath of creation, before mountains rose and oceans formed their rhythm, before you ever spoke your first word or made your first mistake, or took your first breath of air, I had already chosen you, not because you were flawless, not because you would never fall, not because of anything you could offer me in return, but because my love has no beginning and no end, and in that eternal love, you were marked, set apart, called mine. And tonight, as the night deepens and the silence settles around you, I remind you gently but firmly, you are still chosen, not used up, not passed over, not forgotten, not replaced. not exchanged for someone holier, stronger, braver, or better. You are still the one I called by name, still the one I formed in your mother's womb, with intention and care, still the one I've carried through seasons you thought would break you, still the one whose name is written on my heart, still the one for whom I have a plan that has not been cancelled, edited, or revoked. Your failures did not unchoose you, your pain did not disqualify you, your doubts did not remove you from my calling. What I have spoken over your life is sealed in grace, not performance. It is rooted in mercy, not merit. And though others may not see it, and though you may forget it in moments of weakness, I do not forget. I do not revoke what I have declared. You are chosen for purpose. You are chosen for peace. You are chosen to carry light into the shadow. You are chosen to be a living vessel of my presence. You are chosen to walk in love, even when the road is lonely. You are chosen to reflect my nature in a world that has forgotten what holiness looks like. And yes, there will be resistance. Yes, there will be delay. Yes, the enemy will try to convince you that you are only tolerated, not treasured. But listen, chosen ones are not always the loudest or the most visible. Chosen ones are often hidden in caves, formed in deserts, whispered to in dreams. Chosen ones are misunderstood by many, but fully known by me. And I know you, I see, I remember every quiet yes you gave when no one else was watching. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are still chosen, chosen to rise when you feel weak, chosen to believe again when it would be easier to numb yourself, chosen to carry my spirit into ordinary places and bring extraordinary change, chosen to bring beauty from ashes, not by your own power but by the one who dwells in you. Let this truth settle into the deepest places of your heart tonight, not as a temporary comfort, but as an eternal reminder. Let it echo into your soul until it silences every other voice that told you you were replaceable, until it drowns out the lies that said your mistakes made you unworthy. You were never chosen because you were worthy. You were chosen because I am worthy. And my calling does not change like shifting shadows. My love does not expire like a forgotten promise. My purpose for you has not withered in the waiting. Even if you feel forgotten by others, you are still chosen by me. Even if your hands are empty and your plans are unclear, you are still chosen. Even if your faith feels smaller than it once was, you are still chosen. So tonight, lie down in peace, not with a heart heavy from striving, but with a spirit resting in this eternal truth. I have not changed my mind about you. The label of chosen does not fade with time. It does not break under pressure. It does not disappear in pain. It remains, sealed in my spirit, written in my book, spoken through my word, carried by my breath. Sleep now as one who is seen. Sleep now as one who is known. Sleep now as one who is chosen, chosen still, chosen again, chosen forever. And I still have a plan for you. Before your fingers ever reached for mine, before you knew how to call my name, before the stars were hung in their courses and the winds were given their path, before you had spoken your first word or cried your first tear, I knew you, and I loved you, and I wrote your name into the pages of a book not made by human hands, a book sealed in eternity, bound by mercy, held in the heart of the Almighty. And I speak this over you tonight with the fullness of my delight. Your name is still written in my book, not in pencil, easily erased, not with fading ink that disappears with failure, not scribbled as an afterthought, or written in the margin of someone else's story. No, your name was written in my book, with purpose, with intention, with joy, every letter formed by love, every stroke shaped by grace, every line etched with care, never to be removed. I did not write your name based on what you would achieve. I did not record it based on how well you would perform. I wrote it because you are mine. I wrote it because you were created to walk with me, to know me, to be known by me. And though the path has not been straight, and the journey has not been easy, the covenant I made with you has not been broken. You fear sometimes that you've wandered too far. You wonder if I've turned my eyes away. You worry that your name no longer carries weight in heaven. But hear me now, beloved. What I seal, no hand can erase. What I claim, no voice can overrule. What I write in the courts of heaven cannot be deleted by the shame of earth. You are not forgotten. You are not excluded. You are not disqualified. Your name is still in my book, spoken by angels, known in glory, held close to my heart. And that name, your name, carries more than identity. It carries inheritance. It carries access to my presence. It carries the promise of belonging, not just now, but forever. When others overlook you, I remember you. When the enemy accuses you, I defend you. When you forget who you are, I remind you by pointing to what I've written with my own hand. You are not a wandering soul with no place to land. You are not a background figure in someone else's story. You are written into the pages of divine history, engraved into the eternal narrative of redemption, known in the places where light has no shadow, and loved with a love that does not expire. Yes, I know the moments you doubted. Yes, I saw the tears you cried when you thought no one was watching. Yes, I was there when you almost gave up, but not once did I reach to erase you. Not once did I consider replacing you. Not once did I look away. Instead, I watched over you with kindness. I whispered your name when you forgot it. I surrounded you with reminders, again and again, that you are not just passing through this world. You are anchored in heaven, and when the book of life is opened, your name will not be missing. It will not be faded. It will not be crossed out. It will shine with the brilliance of my faithfulness. Because this is not about how tightly you held on to me. It is about how faithfully I have held on to you. So sleep now, not in fear of being lost, but in confidence that you are known. Sleep now, not in dread of being overlooked, but in joy that you are counted. Sleep now, as one whose name is not just whispered in the winds of earth, but declared in the halls of heaven. Your name is known, your name is protected, your name is celebrated, and I still have a plan for you. Do not fear the unfinished places within you, the chapters still waiting for resolution, the dreams suspended in silence, the prayers not yet answered in the way you hoped. For I, the Lord your God, am not a man that I should begin and abandon, not a craftsman who leaves the work half built, not a shepherd who forgets one lamb, still walking toward the fold. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the author and the finisher, and what I have begun in you, I will complete with holy precision, with tender faithfulness, with the kind of patient love that cannot be rushed, and will not be stopped. You look at your life and see loose threads, broken strands, missing pieces, but I see a masterpiece unfolding, a tapestry woven not by accident but by design, each delay holding meaning, each detour shaping depth, each disappointment becoming soil for something far more eternal than you yet understand. I know you've wondered if your story has drifted off course. I know you've questioned whether I still remember the promises once spoken. I know you've carried disappointment like a secret burden, too sacred to name aloud. But I remind you now, I do not forget what I've spoken. I do not misplace what I've planted. I do not grow tired of restoring what the world thought was ruined. Yes, some seasons are long. Yes, some answers seem slow. Yes, some nights stretch far beyond your strength. But I am not pacing the floor of heaven in confusion. I am not uncertain. I am not delayed by weakness. I am working in ways too deep for sight, and I will not leave the story unfinished. I will finish what I started in you, not with haste, not with force, but with grace that flows like water into the deepest places, with mercy that rewrites even the most painful paragraphs, with power that transforms the very structure of your soul. Every wound I will bind, every fear I will address, every promise I will fulfill, and the work I began in you, even in the earliest days when your faith was fragile, and your prayers uncertain, will come to fullness in my timing, by my Spirit, and for my glory. You need not fear that you've missed your moment. You need not panic that you've delayed the call beyond repair. I do not run out of ways to redeem. I do not run out of time. I do not give up midway. And I do not plant without harvesting. Your progress is not in vain. Your obedience has not been ignored. Your tears have not gone unnoticed. Every surrender, every whispered prayer, every step forward when it would have been easier to retreat, I have seen it, I have recorded it, and I am using it all to complete a good and holy work. So rest now, not because everything is finished tonight, but because you belong to the one who finishes everything he begins. Rest, not in apathy, but in assurance. Rest, not in resignation, but in resurrection. Rest, not because the work is done, but because the outcome is secure in my hands. And when you wake, you will wake in the light of new mercy. You will wake with hope stitched back into your bone. You will wake with the quiet strength of knowing, my God is still working, and he will not stop until he is done. For I do not abandon my children. I do not forsake my process. I do not forget the ones who have said yes again and again. You are not at the end. You are not lost in the middle. You are simply in the hands of the author who is still writing, still shaping, still loving, still refining. And I promise you this, I will finish what I started, and what I started in you is not small, is not meaningless, is not wasted. So sleep in peace, child of promise. Sleep knowing heaven is not worried. Sleep knowing the plan still stands. Sleep knowing your name is still written. Your calling is still intact. Your purpose is still unfolding. I am not done. You are not done. And I still have a plan for you.